Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, spokesperson. Good afternoon, everyone. Now to your attention is the information about the situation at the line of confrontation during the last 24 hours on the 2nd of May and as of today's morning, the 3rd of May. The situation at the line of confrontation during the last 24 hours remains tense, but it is controlled by Ukrainian units of joint forces. Russian occupation forces do not decrease the intensity of shellings of our defense positions, including with the use of weaponry that is prohibited by the Minsk agreements. Now, information in more detail. In the Lugansk sector, once again, hotspot is Svetlodarsk Bulge. Escalation was during the last 24 hours. There, in the region of Troitsk and Svetlodarsk, where the enemy used 120 millimeter and 82 millimeter mortars, IVF weaponry, grenade launchers, small arms of different calibers. In direction of servicemen, the enemy launched more than 120 mortar mines, and out of 14 shellings recorded during the last 24 hours in the Lugansk sector, 10 happened in this region. Also, our positions in the region of Zaitsevo and Novgorodsk also came under enemy fire. Here, the enemy used 82 millimeter mortars, grenade launchers, and small arms. In the Donetsk sector, during the last 24 hours, 37 enemy shellings were recorded. The highest activity of the enemy was in the region of Avdiivka, Mariinka, Vodyane, and Shirokine. In violation of the Minsk agreements, Russian occupation forces once again used 122 millimeter barrel artillery and in the direction of our servicemen in the region of Vodyane and Shirokine at about 4 p.m. During 1 hour, 39 artillery shots of 122 millimeter of caliber were made. Moreover, on our positions in the region of Vodyane, enemy fired twice from 120 millimeter mortars. Our servicemen recorded 30 explosions of mortar mines. Our defense positions also came under fire in the region of Avdiivka, Lebedinska, Opetne, and Piski. Here, the enemy used 82 millimeter mortars. From small arms, large caliber machine guns, grenade launchers, and IFVs, and our positions were shelled in the region of Avdiivka, Vodyane, Kamenka, Mariinka, Lebedinska, Novotroitska, Opetne, Pavlopil, Slavne, Shirokine. On the whole, all 51 enemy shellings recorded at the line of confrontation during the last 24 hours were identified as precision ones. The militants of occupation administrations of Russian Federation made 39 shots from 122 millimeter artillery launched at our defense positions of joint forces, about 100 mines from 120 millimeter mortars, and 80 mines from 82 millimeter mortars. In order to preserve lives and health of military personnel, servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine 44 times returned fire, using only weapons that are not prohibited by the Minsk agreements. In the result of enemy shellings, 3 servicemen were injured. They were evacuated to hospitals. Their health condition is assessed as satisfactory. Now about current situation today in the region of rebuff of the armored aggression of Russian Federation in the Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast, starting from the midnight and as of 9 today. Starting midnight, 7 precision shellings of our positions were recorded. All of them happened in the Donetsk sector. And the enemy used grenade launchers and small arms in the region of Avdiivka, Lebedinska, Pavlopil, and Shirokine. And there were no casualties among our forces. According to the update provided by the Joint Forces Operations Headquarters today at 8 a.m., Russian terror forces, in violation of all moral norms, shelled Zaitsevo from 122 millimeter artillery. On site now, emergency workers work, and also there are representatives of Ukrainian side of JCCC. They are present on the site. According to the information provided by the main intelligence department of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, command of Russian occupation forces intensified anti-Ukrainian propaganda by distorting and biased interpretation of change of format of counteraction to Russian aggression from ATO to joint forces operation. In order to intimidate local population in occupied territories, they actively disseminate information about possible intensification of combat actions and broadening of the territory of combat actions that can result in humanitarian crisis at both sides of the contact line. Referring to this, Russian Occupation Command demanded from so-called local governmental bodies and transporters to be ready to provide evacuation of the population. At the same time, they create in the society the situation of tension. The enemy update information about mobilization resources, personnel and private transport that they plan to confiscate under pretext of mobilization. Moreover, the intensified preparation of anti-Ukrainian measures in the region of the deployment of joint forces by creating chaos meetings and sabotage actions in order to prevent actions of the armed forces of Ukraine concerning stabilization of the situation. It is not excluded that in the course of such actions there can be provocative actions to discredit joint forces with the victims among local population to discredit joint forces. And such development of situation can become the pretext for the justification to start active combat actions. This is all. Thank you. Do you have questions, dear colleagues? If there are no, thank you. Thank you.